Hello, welcome everybody to my channel, Chris's Transformers Collection. And I'd like to let you know today is the last day of Power Rangers week for me. And like I said in my other video, the reason why I'm doing Power Rangers week this all week, all Power Rangers, all videos, everything with Power Rangers and whatnot, is because to commemorate the 30th anniversary special on Netflix called Once and Always. I did watch that. It was a good time. I liked it. Uh, I'll give that one a rate for me, 8 out of 10. There were a couple of things that kept it from 10 out of 10, but it was still a good time. And I'd like to go a little review over it real quick, just to let you know my thoughts on how I felt about it. But first, I want to warn you, there's going to be spoilers involved. So if you haven't seen the show yet, I would suggest clicking off this video, getting on Netflix, watching it. It's just an hour long, and then coming back because there's going to be some things I'm going to spoil. All right. So, okay, go. All right. So, first things first, things that I liked about the show. I really liked, it was made for guys my age and older, guys like me. We grew up watching that stuff. I was in fourth grade or whatever when the show first came out, and I was really big into it. All right, come on, dog. I'm filming here. So, yeah, the show was excuse me, it was made for guys like us. It's a nice little throwback. All the actors, all the characters were mainly centered around the characters who starred in the first three seasons of the show. So there was no other Rangers from other series in there. They did show up a few times when Rita started capturing the other Rangers and stuff like that. Then they started showing, the other Rangers at that time. But it's mainly for people like me who grew up watching the first couple of seasons, and it had a real big impact on us in our lives and our childhoods growing up then. So they had Billy, character Billy David Yost. They had Walter Jones played Zach. He was in it. They did not have Austin St. John, Jason Dad Frank, Amy Jo Johnson, or Tui Trang. Now we know why Tui Trang wasn't in the show. She passed away back in 2001. In a real bad car accident, and the show is actually based around her, and also talking about the death of the actual character. The character herself died in the show as well, and the special details that goes over the history of that, and also the legacy that's been passed on to her daughter Min. So Tree does have a daughter Min, and she becomes the new Yellow Ranger at the end of the show. So Austin St. John, I was hoping he would be in the show. He didn't show up. The reason was, last I read, is because he got caught into a little bit of legal trouble. I guess somewhat fraud or something. His name was mixed up in it, so he had to deal with that during filming, so he couldn't make it there. Amy Jo Johnson, she just declined. She didn't want to show up for whatever reason. I thought she would be into it because, I remember a couple of years ago I seen her on social media. I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram or something. She was in her Pink Ranger uniform and she was playing a guitar or something. She was a little bit thicker than she was before. Yeah, I kind of like that. I know my buddy Carnell Hollywood really liked that because he had a big crush on her back when we were kids. And Jason Darren Frank, he didn't show up because during the time of filming, he was already working on another project. I think he was still working on that Legend of the White Dragon project that he was working with Bat and the Sun. If you're not familiar with Bat and the Sun, you owe it to yourself to check those guys out as well, because they make some real good fight cinematography, cosplay, and just filmography in general. I've been watching them since 2015 with Superpower Beatdown, and look, you just gotta check them out. Called Bat in the Sun. Obviously, JDF can't reprise his role now because he sadly passed away recently. It's unfortunate. But yeah, he didn't show up because during the time of filming he was already doing another project, so he couldn't make it. But they did have some other characters who did show up to take their place or to help fill in the gaps. Steve Cardenas, who played as Rocky, the second Red Ranger, he was there. Kay Sutherland as Catherine Sutherland. I'm sorry. She played as Kat, the second Pink Ranger. She showed up, Johnny on Bosch, the second Black Ranger, he had a cameo appearance along with Aisha. Adam and Aisha were they're in space now, so they just make a little cameo appearance so they communicate with them. But it was still a good show. Rita Repulsa reprises her is the villain again in this one. If you remember way back in Power Rangers in Space, at the end of Power Rangers in Space, Zordon sacrificed himself to send out what was called the Z-Wave, which was to purge all evil in the galaxy. And a lot of the villains died, turned to dust, or they were purified. And Zed and Rita were purified. They returned human. I guess their evil sides were purged out of them, and they were human. And years later the in the Mystic Force series, Rita comes back as she knows because she's good now, and she becomes the Mystic Mother to the Power Rangers, the Mystic Rangers. Zed, he does come back, but he comes back evil again. I'm unsure how he became evil again, but he does come back in a couple of shows as Lord Zed again. But in this show, once and always, since it's based around the first couple of seasons, and Rita was the first big bad season, she does come back, but with a twist. And the story explains that since her evil side was purged, it was still dispersed. It came back and possessed the Alpha robot and transformed into Robo-Rita. Oh, the cat's misbehaving. Hey, cut it out. So, so the whole story is around that and talking about her coming back, trying to get revenge on the Power Rangers, and it also talks about Trini's death, how Billy and Zach are coping with that, and especially Trini's daughter, and how they have to take care of her and help raise her until she becomes a new Power Ranger. So, it was a real good show. Again, I say I ranked it out 8 out of 10. 8 because, it was still the campiness was there. The old feel of the show was there. They had, they showed some stuff. Boca Skull had a cameo. The characters weren't there, but they did have a sign and show off their new business and everything. The biggest thing I really liked, though, was the Rec Center. Ernie's bar was there, and they had a couple of scenes inside that bar, and it was amazing. Ernie wasn't there, obviously, because, he passed away. The character passed away. Not the character, but the actor passed away a while back. So he wasn't there to reprise his role. But, the place was still there. The bar was still there, and it was real good. Rita's back. The original putties were back. Two villains that she made, 2 monsters created, they came back. A lot of old Rangers came back, so, yeah. My only beef was, one was some of the actors that I wanted to see didn't make it. And my other thing that just was a beef of mine was that everybody just looks so old. And that's because they are, I was in 4th grade or so, something like that, when the show first started, and everybody was like, the actors were like 19, 20 at the time. So I'm 40 now, so they're in their 50s. So, yeah, I get it. Everybody's old now. And they look the part. But that's the name of the show, Once and Always. Once a Ranger, always a Ranger. And then it's also passing the torch, for Trini to her daughter to become a new Yellow Ranger. Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. What's it called? Another piece of fan service I liked, was Rita's Palace. They called it the Bandora Castle, the Bandora Palace, and that was a nice nod to the Japanese series of Power Rangers, because in Japan, Rita's character was called the Witch of Bandora, so they named the palace after her. So give a nod to the fans of the Japanese show as well. So yeah, all in all, I give it an 8 out of 10. Must watch. I thought it was gonna be a whole movie, but it was just a show. It was an hour long, so it was an extended show, but it was still really good. So yeah, that's my video for today. I just want to talk to you, give you my thoughts on, how the show was, what I thought was good, what was bad, and yeah, I'm gonna close out Power Rangers Week this week. today, starting tomorrow, back at it again with Transformers. At least 30 days of nothing but Transformers content. Uh, I'm not going to be showing you more shorts of any of my other figures outside of Transformers, so it's going to be Transformers shorts. My videos is going to be talk about story time, about Transformers or whatever going on in my life. And yeah, because I know some of y'all been asking me, hey, what's up with Transformers? Why don't you talk about Transformers? It's a Transformers channel. I got you, all right? But until then, everybody have a nice day. If it's your first time coming to the channel, I thank you for coming here. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, so you don't miss any more content that's coming out soon. Tell your friends, and like my mom used to always say, thanks, and have a nice day.